You're listening to a fight against free kill laws from AMP Media Production Studio.
Welcome to the Fight Against Free Kill Laws with Ed Salazar, where we give a voice to those who have suffered firsthand from medical malpractice. In Florida, families devastated by medical negligence are left without justice because of a law many don't even know exists. Florida's free kill law prevents families from holding doctors accountable. These are real stories with real loss and no justice. Contact Ed at 561-239-2417 or visit afreekill.com. Today we uncover the truth, share real stories, and demand change.
Good evening, friends, and thank you again, once again, for taking the time to join us and to watch our podcast and to share information with us. We continue to gain momentum. I'm very excited that we're going to have the South Florida delegation meeting is going to be this Monday and on the campus of Miami-Dade College. As far as I know, we have at least 3 members of the Florida Medical Rights Association that are going to be there live. Anyone else that can be there, please let me know if you'd like information about it. Get in touch with me. My contact information will just be displayed at the end of the podcast. We continue to ask for your support for the billboard campaign that Daryl Parrott started. Again, I think this is probably the most effective way to get our message going. We have this billboard, Daryl took care of this. He put this billboard up on I-95 South, just as you cross from Georgia into Florida. If we can continue to get safe, if you want to help with this, you can go to the website and that little red box right there, click on that, www.floridafreekill.org, and anything that you could do to help finance this, to help us fund this, we will get more of these billboards up. Daryl and Lauren, Melody, we have some tireless warriors on this. Travis, people that are just boundless in their energy, their effort, and their determination to get these laws abolished. Our guest for this podcast is Belinda Warren. Belinda Warren has a very, very powerful story to tell. Can we bring her in now, please? Hey, Belinda.
Hello.
Now, if you would please, just tell us how your family came to be a victim of the Florida free kill laws.
Well, my mother, her name was Lillian Gerber. She was 72. She had a very small aneurysm in her brain. It was only a 1. Well, she had the same doctor for many, many years, and he would only just do an MRI and see if it had grown every couple of years. Well, they changed her insurance, and then they changed her doctor. And when they changed her doctor, this new doctor decided that he wanted to do this procedure where basically what they did was they took a tube with a camera through her groin into her brain. And this pushed 42 pieces of plaque into my mother's brain. This caused her 42 strokes and a massive seizure, which caused my mother to be brain dead. We had, and mind you, that all my mother needed was an MRI. She did not need this procedure. It was an unnecessary procedure that ended up costing $36,000, where an MRI cost maybe $1,000. And so there's my mother, and they say she's brain dead. And we asked the doctor, we see, what can we do? Does she have a chance at life? And this doctor looked at us and said, I'm going on vacation. I'm going on vacation. He refused to tell us anything. They wouldn't do more tests. We ended up letting her go. Her 5 children, her brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, we were all there. And we took her off the life support, at which time my mother suffered. She suffered like 15 minutes before she finally passed. And, there was nothing we could do, nothing we could do. And I
Well,
started, I didn't know what to do. I
well,
had no idea where to start. And so I started by calling, the governor, just right up the chain until they explained to me that I needed to go to the Capitol. And so I went to a delegation meeting, and there after I did my speech, which is the what I sent to you an email, Melody McDonald had reached out to me, and she explained to me about the Florida Medical Rights Association, and that was in June of 2018. And I have been working with Melody and the whole group of victims since that point. I go to the Capitol every year. Every year, I walk into every senator and every representative's office. And the horrible thing is, you have to tell your story again and again and again. And, I'm hoping this year they finally rid us of this law.
believe me, I understand. Um, okay, well let's back up. So, uh, at the time of her passing, your mother was 72 years old,
Yes.
and why was she in the hospital in the first place?
She just went to the doctor. My brother dropped her off at the hospital, because that's where her doctor was.
Just for a
And
routine
she
doctor's
was
or office
she was
visit.
just gonna, yes, just a routine doctor's visit. Like, he was coming back to pick her up after grocery shopping. And he came back to find that my mother is brain dead
So,
in an hour time.
okay, so she wasn't symptomatic for a stroke. She wasn't symptomatic for anything. Any
Nothing.
the doctor just told her that he would like to do this exploratory, unnecessary, invasive procedure.
Yes. On a 72-year-old woman,
And
without doing any of the testing that needed to be done to make sure that there was no plaque in her artery before doing this.
so in the course of this diagnostic procedure, they dislodged the plaque. Imaging studies confirmed that she had stroked, that she had infarctions. There were
42,
42. Oh my God.
42 strokes and a grandmother seizure.
And how much time had passed from the time she went for this routine doctor's office visit to
1 hour.
1 hour?
Hmm. 1 hour.
When you first found out what had happened, well, let's when after how long did it take from the time that they declared her, from the initial insult to the time that they declared her brain dead? How much time passed?
Um, I'm going to say maybe a day.
Okay, so
You know,
what I'm asking is, they had done some EEGs. Had an EEG been done to confirm, no brain activity?
yes.
And at this point,
But I'll be honest. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, because I can't even think about it. But at one point, my mother smirked and moved one of her toes, I believe it was. And to my understanding, you don't smile or any kind of movement like that if you're brain dead. And we wanted to get more testing done, and they didn't want to do it. They wouldn't bring in another doctor. They said one doctor wouldn't talk over another doctor, but the doctor that she had told us he was going on vacation and left.
He sees your mother one time, convinces her to do this procedure that there was no clear indication for. She has this horrific outcome, and then he tells you he's going on vacation.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
She was on a ventilator at the time,
Yes.
and they took her off the ventilator, and it took about 15 minutes before she
Yeah.
succumbed to respiratory failure.
Yes. It was
You
the
know,
most horrifying thing you can ever imagine watching. All we could do
mm,
was just hold.
I'm a career respiratory therapist, and I've seen this, but these circumstances that your mother was there under, and these circumstances that you and your family had to endure, it's inexcusable. It's horrific.
Completely inexcusable. And
So,
to this day, they no answers.
so you tell me how you learned about the free kill law.
That was I went to, I'd made a lot of calls, like even to the police department, like who do I call? Who do I speak to? And then I found out about a delegation meeting in Naples, which is where my mother died. Um, and so I went to my first delegation meeting, and that is where that speech that I sent to you, that was my first delegation meeting.
It was a
And
very powerful speech. I think we're going to put excerpts of that up on the website.
I would love that. That would mean a lot to me.
We will do
Um,
it.
and after that, I got a call from Melody. She contacted me. I can't remember how she contacted me, but she contacted me. And she, from that point, that very year, me and Melody went to the Capitol. I met her in Tallahassee, and we have been very near friends, very close friends, very dear friends since then.
Melody
Um,
has that effect.
oh, she's an amazing woman, just an amazing woman. She's put
Yeah.
so much work into putting this together, and honestly, if it was not for her, we would not all be together the way that we are.
But before you went to the delegation meeting, you were educated as to what your legal options were, which were zero, right?
I actually called, uh, I'll tell you, probably 80 lawyers. I just wouldn't stop every moment of the day. I was supposed to come back home to Ohio, but I actually ended up staying in Florida for over a month, every day making phone calls to lawyers. But none of them was telling me uh, what, why. They were just telling me, I can't help you. And then I spoke with this lawyer, Lauren Gold, and he actually spent probably 5 hours on the phone explaining to me what this law was, what it does, why we can't get justice, and what I need to do. And just being there to listen to me tell my story. And, so I'm very thankful for him as well.
Do you still have his contact information?
I do. I do.
Okay, we'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
He sounds like someone we should stay in touch with.
Yes, absolutely. And if there's anybody that have the same issue, he sends them to us.
Okay, so now you understand the circumstances and the consequences of Florida's free kill law.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
And you've been introduced to the people from the Florida Medical Rights Association.
Yes.
What is it? What in your opinion? What would justice be for your mother, for you at this point?
Um, if I'm being honest, justice for me would be for that lawyer or for that doctor to be held accountable. Um, you know, your money will never do anything for me. Your money will never change my life and never bring back my mother. But for that doctor to have justice and not still be doing the same things to other people that he did to my mother,
He hit it right on the head. This is what I don't think these people and these legislators understand. I'll go back to it again. Insulting, One of the most insulting, most infuriating things that I heard was when Governor DeSantis implied that people were looking for some form of jackpot justice.
I'll tell you, I couldn't even go back to Florida after that. That was the thing that, because where I was staying was right down the street from the governor's mansion. And I couldn't even stand being that close to that man.
Well,
After seeing something so horrifying.
my son's passing occurred in 2009. Now, 2014 is when I wrote this book. That a lot of time has passed, but the pain hasn't. And we know full well that there is no recourse for financial restitution. But we, just like you said it, perfectly, eloquently. Accountability. That's what we're looking for. For our legislators, for the governor, for people in the decision-making position to say that this law is necessary to keep insurance premiums from rising, to be sure that doctors will want to practice in Florida. I mean, that's bull. That's baloney. If
It
that were
is complete.
true, why isn't it like that in other states? You
Well,
know?
and here's the fact. You know, uh, there is so much money going through the insurance hands that you know uh this whole idea of insurance costs, it's all ballooned, it's all made up, it's all just yeah, I mean, it just gives them a reason to inflate the prices. Y- I just, after all the research that I have done and all of the the lobbyists and how much money comes through their hands through these insurance companies, would take care of all these people that they've wronged.
Right.
Instead of handing it to the lobbyist, hand it to the people that you've wronged, and you'll still have some pennies in your pocket.
Tell us please about the website that you set up. What information can people find there?
Just about everything. It it goes from, I've actually put on there kind of a step by step on how for you to do it yourself. Um, how to I've put all the links on, like, the bills and the senators, and so that you can just click right on the senators to be able to even send them emails or make phone calls to them. I've put all the years that we've been doing it, the different delegation meetings, the different committee hearings, and Senate hearings. There are just videos of, from the Florida Medical Rights Association. We used to do meetings where we would record the stories of the people, and those stories are on there. There's just a handful of them right now, probably about 20 different stories of different people. Um, just about anything that has to do with the free kill law is on that page, and easy to go through, easy to click on. And any questions that you have, there's a link on there too for you to email me
Hey,
or call me.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, just a second. John, can we put her bottom third back up again, please? Thank you. Okay, so yeah, there it is. There's your email address, as well as your website.
Thank you.
So the videos are there, links. Do you have information on any of the state representatives, any of the state senators? Contact information.
Yes, for every single one of them.
Okay.
On one of the pages, there is a link to almost every single senator's page. And that way you can just very easily just click on their face, click on their email, their phone number, and be able to reach out to them.
You know, one thing that I've thought about a lot. You know, you've been involved in this a long time now. You know, and I've been involved in this a long time. Every year, it seems like we go a little bit further. You know, we advance a little bit further. This last legislative session, when the measure, the proposal to abolish, you know, the bill, the law, abolish the law, passed both houses by an overwhelming majority. Yet, Governor DeSantis vetoed it. Well, now what I'm wondering is why, if all of these representatives, all these senators are so committed to the abolishment of the law, why didn't they support a motion to overturn the veto?
You know, I can't understand it. I can't understand it except for that, and I don't mean this in, I hate to step on my own tongue, but they're wrong. They're wrong for what they did. They had every opportunity to save every single person that has died since then. And if I'm being blatant, um, in the end, they are the cause because they allow it to be law when they could stop it. And they could have stopped it last year. And they have chosen not to. They're the ones that allowed it to be a law to begin with. And so whose hands is it really in?
Well, you know, somebody, if what I'm about to say is wrong, you know, somebody, please let me know and correct me. But it seems to me that, you know, when the statistics came, Johns Hopkins University published a study that indicated that there were someplace between 400 and 800,000 deaths in this country every year due to medical errors. Okay, now people came out and said, "Well, those numbers are wrong. You know, that's way too high." Some other people came out and said, "No, the numbers are way too low." On my own son's death certificate, now was a 27-year-old young man with a normal, healthy heart and lungs, died in a trauma center from cardiopulmonary arrest. How does that happen? Now, my point is that when the CDC tabulates causes of death, there's no code. There's no ICD code for screw up.
Right.
So you don't see medical error on a death certificate.
Well,
Okay,
here's
if
another very important thing to mention on that. The other ones that don't count are like my mother. What they did on my mother's death certificate, which I could show you her death certificate, it said my mother died of natural causes. Now
Oh,
you
so it was a
explain to me,
coincidence. It was just a coincidence that she had 42 infarctions in a short period of time, right after a
a
unnecessary
natural,
invasive procedure.
right, Right. Exactly. A natural cause is anything that happens without outside force. An unnatural cause is anything that was caused by outside force. So my mother's death was caused by an outside force, which was not a natural cause of death. But yet on her death certificate, that's what it reads.
All right, so there you have it, folks. As the information that we're getting from the CDC, how reliable is it? Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Well, unfortunately, we have far, far too many stories like this. I was speaking with Dawn, one of the principals here at AMP2 Media Studios in Boca here, and she says, where do these people come from? How do you come to learn about these people? Well, just like you said, through the Florida Medical Rights Association, when the word gets out and people hear of it and they want to share their story, these are coming out, and they're coming out from all over the state. It's not any one location, it's not any one group, it's not
Right.
any one social status. It's people from all walks of life, people all ages. The only common denominator these victims have is that they were more than 25 years old, they were single, and they had no dependent children.
Correct.
Other than that, they come from all walks of life all over the state of Florida.
all over the all over the world, okay? That needs to be stated. It's not just the state of Florida. It's all over the entire globe. Anyone who comes from anywhere to the state of Florida, if they fall in that category, they are a free kill.
Good point. So, tourist beware.
Tourist beware.
We could probably do a whole episode just on that.
Well,
When
there are many that I know that are not from the state of Florida who were just visiting the state of Florida.
well, that might be a whole new aspect for us to investigate, approach, and discuss.
Absolutely.
And all the more reason to put these billboards up on every interstate, every main road coming into Florida. Well, Belinda, any closing thoughts, any remarks, any words of wisdom?
Just take your family to a hospital outside the state of Florida. I mean, if they fall in that category, that's just, I fear for people in the state of Florida. And I'm one of the first people that people reached out to when this would happen to them. And it's so horrible to hear all of these stories all the time. I mean, just hundreds of stories that I've heard. And, you know, uh, just protect yourself. You know, uh, don't go into the hospital without a family member. Make sure there's somebody with you watching.
We're hoping, you bring up another point. I'm hoping after the first of the year that I met a lady who became a patient advocate, a certified patient advocate. And what drove her to pursue this was an unfortunate incident with her own husband. And a lot of times we get guests come on the show and they'll say, the people in the hospital would talk to us, but it was like they were speaking a foreign language. They didn't understand, the medical terminology, the implications. They couldn't appreciate the consequences. And the role of a patient advocate is, hey, unfortunately, because of life experience, people like you would make excellent patient advocates because but you've learned the hard way.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. It always goes so fast. But
Not a,
Belinda, thank you so very, very much for taking the time to join us.
and thank you so much for giving me the time.
Well, you're more than welcome.
And I'm sorry about your son.
We'll stay in touch. We'll stay in
Wonderful.
touch. And folks, thank you very much for taking the time to join us, for listening to our story. And I'm gonna ask that if anyone hears what was said on this show tonight, and you know anybody that would like to come on and express an opposing opinion, or express why they would think, send a lawyer, send a legislator, send anybody, and tell us where we're wrong, where we've got this story wrong. I would love to hear that. Okay, thank you very much, folks. Love.
Imagine this. A loved one, a son or a daughter, has just suffered from a life-threatening accident. They're transported to a state trauma hospital, and despite being in the care of professional physicians, they tragically pass away due to preventable medical errors. As if this was not tragic enough, then finding out that legal statutes in the state of Florida devalue your loved one's life to zero. This is what we are fighting against. Come join Edward Salazar as he discusses the issues surrounding free kill laws and how to resolve them. Catch The Fight Against Free Kill Laws with Ed Salazar on Monday, 5 p.m. on all social media. Learn who we are and join our cause today. Thank you for watching The Fight Against Free Kill Laws with Ed Salazar, where we interview those who have dealt firsthand with medical malpractice. Families are devastated by medical malpractice and left with no justice. This isn't just a loophole. It's a failure to protect the ones we love. It's time to change the law. It's time for accountability. Contact your state legislatures, visit afreekill.com for more information on how to help, or contact Ed at 561-239-2417. Because every life should matter.
You're listening to A Fight Against Free Kill Laws from AMP Media Production Studio.